think we're being lied to. Corporate leaders aren't killing diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're actually doing something much worse. Lock in with me for this little journey. I spent the last few weeks digging into public statements, leaked memos, and policy changes from corporations reportedly rolling back DEI. And what I found was a mismatch. While the headlines scream DEI is over, the reality is that many of these companies like Amazon, Target, Meta, McDonald's, and others, they aren't actually cutting DEI. They're doing a kind of sleight of hand, a kind of magic trick. They're rebranding it, moving it to different departments, shifting the language, giving it new names. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, shh, Garrison, be quiet down. And I get it. In some ways, this is smart. Corporate leaders know the economic value of DEI. A diverse workforce is good for business. Customers care about representation. Talent pipelines are inferior and biased without intentional affirmative intervention. And they aren't going to let Donald Trump and his segregationist allies mess up their bottom line over some brain-dead culture war. Which begs the question, why fake the rollbacks in the first place? Well, optics. I think they're making a bet. They're betting that MAGA is too lazy to read. They're betting that if they look like they're ditching DEI, they can conjure a few overstated headlines, control the narrative, avoid a Fox News news cycle, and the MAGA mob is free to go be mad at the next thing. And they're betting that that perceived obedience will keep them in the good graces of Trump himself, that his administration won't try to make some example out of them. And on the surface, this might seem like a smart move, but in reality, it is extremely dangerous because of the illusion of power that it lends. Trump has always relied on his own illusion, a sleight of hand, a magic trick. As Ezra Klein recently pointed out, Trump has always been a pretender. But the truth is that none of it works without people with real power giving credibility to his act, from TV to politics. And now corporate America is doing the same. And this kind of anticipatory obedience, as historian Timothy Snyder calls it, runs the risk of unintentionally manufacturing public consent for exactly the kind of executive overreach that Trump dreams of getting away with. He wants to be a king with power over everything, but he isn't. This is America. He's the president, and presidents don't have power over everything here. And as such, I think the solution is simple. Stop pretending that Trump is more powerful than he actually is. Call his bluff. But whatever you do, stop obeying in advance. I think we're being lied to. Corporately.
And welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. I am your host, Stacey Brown. This is the Black Press of America, and this is where you get, well, where you get the great news.
All right, Stacey. Good morning, Stacey. Good morning, America. I'm Neil, your co-pilot, and this morning we're going to amplify some Black voices and, of course, bring you the headlines that uplift and impact the Black experience. DEI, affirmative action. I mean, come on, Stacey.
I agree with some of the stuff that he said in that video, particularly the end there, where you don't capitulate in advance, you don't surrender in advance. I agree with that part. But the other stuff, listen, Target and others intentionally roll back their diversity efforts. Target specifically, and they're getting hurt. Just did a story yesterday. They're getting hurt all the time because of it. They made the problem with Target is not only did they capitulate to Trump, and you got to remember that Trump's executive orders was for the government, right? But these businesses decide they jumped on board immediately, right? There was nothing in that executive order that said business. Now we know he's going to treat businesses unfairly, but they don't get money from the government, right? They don't depend on the government to run their business. Target certainly doesn't. But Target made a $250 million pledge in 2021 to the Black community, which
all corporations did.
Well, Target specifically was out. Well, they were out front with theirs, $250 million, and it was to be done when in 2025 or by 2025, and it was the beginning of what 2025 when they said, "Oh, we not doing it." When the check came due, when the bill came due, that's what makes Target so egregious.
They're all egregious. I mean,
but I'm just pointing simply out why everybody's picking on Target, right? Not picking on, but pointing Target out.
I get all of them are complicit. All the corporations are complicit. Target is just the target of this boycott, but they all should be boycotted. And I mean, at the end of the day, all of these big level conversations, the impact is going to be on communities of color and Black folks. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. We have all these conversations, DEI, affirmative action, you know, education. I just saw an article about FAMU now fighting for money because they got $16 million of federal funding pool. All of these conversations stem to how they are going to disenfranchise Black folks. And, you know, when Black folks are disenfranchised, all the other minorities are too. But we're always the target, for lack of a better.
Yeah, and as Dr. Joni puts it, the reason Target also is paying such a price is not only because they just gave in for no immediate reason, and because Target has always been so strongly worded about their support of Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ, and so they had this is why really the first big corporation that Reverend Jamal Bryant, the NAACP, the NMPA have targeted because of their, like I said, that aforementioned 250 million. They were so out front because everything happened there in Minneapolis, right, with George Floyd, and Target is based out of Minneapolis, and they were the first. I know other companies came, but they were the first to stand up and say, we're with you, Black Lives Matter, diversity matters, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they were so out front and to cave. And as Dr. Joni said, really no real immediate pressure, danger, or anything at that point. They just caved. It was almost like, you get dealt a hand, you got 4 aces in the hand, and you just say, okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna fold. What are you
But they
folding for?
all fold. I mean, I get it. We're
I
boycotting
get
Target,
that.
but they
No,
all folded. I mean,
but
Facebook
are you
pulled
seeing the
away.
point?
I see the point, but what I'm
But you
saying
keep
is all
dismissing
of
it.
them. I'm not dismissing it. I'm just saying, like, look at Facebook. They got rid of free speech. I'm just saying, everybody is complicit with Donald Trump. Everybody. I'm boycotting Target. I'm boycotting them. But I don't feel any more disdain for them than I do all the rest of them. I don't like
Well,
none of them.
well, I think that when you are basically handed a contract by someone, as opposed to say McDonald's, right? McDonald's was not as strong in the first place as Target was, as far as how they came out to support and say that they were doing this and doing that. You're more disappointed in the one than the other. And then we understand that we should not be counting on any of these
That's what I'm
non-Black
saying.
owned businesses. So
That's what I'm
anyway,
saying. All of them. Because wasn't it over like $100 million that was pledged when George Floyd died? It wasn't distributed.
that's $250 million. 250.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Continue to boycott Target.
well,
Right?
yeah. I mean, look, if that's your want,
Are you
um,
are you boycotting Target?
I, I don't even shop at Target.
Oh, okay.
So it's like saying, are you gonna have cream soda? I don't
Oh.
drink cream soda.
Oh, so you don't shop at Target.
It doesn't faze me.
Okay. So who does the shopping in your household?
My wife and the kids, but they don't. My youngest daughter likes Target, right?
I like Target. Well, I like Target, but I'm not shopping
Yeah,
at
but
Target.
we don't shop. We don't. It's not a place where we shop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like whatever. But it's good to know that they are feeling the pain.
Right. I love that. I love that about that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to know they feeling the pain, and
Yeah.
that's really the bottom line.
And just want to be clear, following the murder of George Floyd, hundreds of companies made financial pledges totaling $340 billion, and they have all reneged,
There you
except
go.
Costco.
Costco.
Costco was one of them, and I think an airline One of them, some of them doubled down and said
Yeah,
they're
I think
not
it was
doing it.
Delta. I think it was
Yeah,
Delta.
yeah. But
But you're
340
right.
million. Mm-hmm.
But you're
Billion,
right.
billion.
Billion. But you're right too. With gosh, I lost my thought. But you were right with what you just said. Target is not the only one. Obviously, it's not the only one. And
And I think
it
what
just shows
made
you about.
Target,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go
No, I was going
ahead.
to show you about the lack of allies. When push comes to shove, they're gonna fold.
Yeah, they're gonna, and I think that was my bigger point. They're all folding. I know Target, for a lot of us, what Target did more than others was that they amplified Black business owners. And that is why, to me, they're at the forefront, because they took it another step and they
Mhm.
created this whole program about Black business owners. And so that's why we had, and then what made the conversation even more amplified is when you have people like Tabitha Brown and a couple of the other ones saying, please don't boycott Target. And then Black folks was like, y'all got to be a part of the solution. And I'm sorry if you fall by the wayside. So Target is in a pickle, and so are Black business owners that have their
Mhm.
product in there, because they don't want us to boycott, but they're afraid now to ask us because of what happened to Tabitha Brown.
Uh-oh,
She kind of got the
somebody wait a minute. Somebody in the audience caved. Monique says, unfortunately, she says she's jaded to go to Target yesterday for dog food. There were 7 shoppers, including herself. When I say empty, more workers than customers.
That's good
See,
though. That's
that's good. I'm glad you went so you can give us that report.
yeah. You was doing, you just doing a service for Black
Doing the
folks to
service.
come.
There you
Thank
go.
you for helping us with the show this morning. You get a
There you
pass, but don't go back. Don't go back.
go. What is the black trivia today? Do you know? Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Which
Which
landmark?
landmark? We got to figure out who gonna do what. That's
Go
why a
ahead. You go
script is
ahead.
important. Which landmark Supreme Court case featured a teenage civil rights pioneer whose testimony helped end bus segregation in Alabama?
Oh, look at that. All right, y'all. Y'all got to do your thing because I don't know the answer to this one. Which landmark Supreme Court case featured a teenage civil rights pioneer whose testimony helped end bus segregation in Alabama? Come on, shoot your shots. Let us know what the answer is, and we'll get back to that. Um, so the attack on the National Smithsonian's National African American Museum of History and Culture continues. Kevin Young, the director of the National Museum of African American History and Culture, is currently on personal leave and not. He's not currently leading the museum. The Smithsonian confirmed the leave began on March the 14th, and they saying it will continue for a quote undetermined period. Um, this comes as, of course, Lonnie Bunch just put out a statement last week, a memo, I should say, to his to the museum employees about their stand when it comes to Donald Trump's executive order, in which he's going to, he's trying to dismantle the National Museum of African American History and Culture. And now we
Mhm,
find out that the director, this guy, so Lonnie Bunch, who is the secretary of the Smithsonian, was initially the director of the African
right.
American Museum. He succeeded Lonnie Bunch.
Mhm,
And so, Lonnie Bunch is a noble, noble individual who is probably wondering what's next, even in his role, because you got to remember,
mhm,
um, Congress is part of the, for lack of better, I know it's a different word, board of governors. That's probably, and so that puts the vice president as well as being a decision maker for this.
mhm.
So they are doing this. We know it's done. We brought the story about the executive order last week. They're coming hard for the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
It's not a surprise. I mean, they came for Black History. You know, they took it out of our schools. So the last place standing that really is the story of the plight of Black people from across the world from the inception of slavery. Why wouldn't they go after the Smithsonian? Why wouldn't they?
So, do
It's
you see
right in line.
the Klansman reflected in the glass? Huh.
Huh.
I don't.
I don't either.
Do y'all see that? Anybody else see that? That's interesting.
Maybe we have to
Ed?
be there to see it. No, I mean, really, no. I mean, because every time I go to the museum,
it's something
I
new,
learn
right?
something new. I learn
Mhm.
something new every time. Every time I go to DC, whatever I'm doing, work related,
Oh,
the
there it
monument,
is. The
the
monument.
monument.
Yeah, how about that? How about that?
But every time I
But
go
you
to DC, I spend the weekend in that museum because it's just important. It's like the Negro National Anthem, lest we forget. And that place is the reminder.
yeah. Woo. Dr. Jones says, I think I read that Arlington Cemetery is supposed to eliminate the Civil War. How exactly is that supposed to happen? Are those soldiers not to be honored? No, they're not to be honored according to uh, MAGA in chief. Um, and RNG makes this point. We see some elections swung the Democrats' way yesterday or Tuesday.
Mhm.
But he says the sad reality is when the Democrats get back in power, they will not be able to correct all these wrongs done by Trump, or they would not correct all these wrongs done by Trump. Whether or not
Mhm.
they were able to, is a different story. But I think that's a good point too. That's a fair point that
Mhm.
he's look. It's only been 3 months and he's done so much damage.
Right.
Imagine what it's going to look like 4 years from now.
Right. That's why it's going to be so important for states to hold the line. As we saw yesterday in Georgia, Georgia House Democrats walked out in protest on a
Mhm.
bill banning gender affirming care for inmates. And so this conversation is happening all across the country in different states. I know, I think Monday night or maybe Sunday night, I got a call from one of my lawmakers here in California because she was voting on a bill aiming to ban trans athletes from girl sports. And so
Mm.
these conversations about transgender, the queer community are happening, and it's happening on state levels. And so it's going to be up to the states. To your point, what's happening from a federal level, it's going to be up to the states to hold the line. And these Georgia lawmakers clearly knew maybe they didn't have the votes, and so they just walked out.
Also, yesterday, a federal judge permanently dismissed the criminal case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Um, and Eric Adams played this thing, whether you agree with him or not. And I certainly am not one to agree with Eric Adams, but he played this thing perfectly to stay out of prison. And but here's the catch, though: the judge in this case um, has said that hey, we don't want to see your actions. This we don't want this to become something that becomes an obvious payoff from Donald Trump or anybody else. In other words, his immigration policies and things of that nature, they are telling him that, look, let's not flaunt this, basically, because there's nothing the judges can do at this point. They dismiss with with prejudice, as they say, which they can't bring these charges again. So there's nothing the judges can do. But the judge did say to him, they essentially don't flaunt the fact that you made this deal with Trump.
Well, the good thing for New Yorkers is whether if they like it, they'll vote for him to stay. And if they don't, they have a whole lot of options with the candidates for mayor in
He's
New York.
running as an independent, by the way, and for reelect. He's left the Democratic Party, and he's formally said that he's running as an independent for reelection.
Yeah, well, New Yorkers, you have a choice to make.
Dr. Joni says he's such a grifter, he belongs perfectly with Trump. I don't, I don't. It would be. It's. I think you can't be too surprised at what happens in politics, but it would be sort of a shocker if he wins re-election.
Yeah.
I can't see. People will say, well, he's going to have Trump's backing, etc. This is New York City. This is not New York State. I just cannot see uh, Trump or anybody else or anybody like Trump having that kind of pull in New York City.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist in the city.
Well, that's
Right?
definitely going to be one of the races that people will be paying attention to.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. You got a few good candidates over there too, running for
Mhm.
that seat. So we will see. Of course, yeah, Cuomo is running, but then there's also this couple of city council folks are running as well. Um, and what's the young lady that's running for mayor in New York City who recently announced, a black young lady who has some outstanding credentials? So we'll see, and we know that credentials don't always win in politics, though, right?
Right.
Because otherwise, we'd be talking about a whole different subject this morning and the last couple of months too.
Yeah, and I
But
mean, speaking of races in California, the governor's race is heating up. We know Xavier Bakar just joined the California governor's race, and everybody's still waiting to see if our former vice president is going to join in. But she says she's not going to make any decisions to the end of the summer. So you have New York on the East Coast, California governor's race is heating up. And so, like I'm saying, it's all going back to the states now because what's happening on Capitol Hill, we have no power. But whatever state that you live in, I think we're really going to see the power of local politics from a state and municipality level. And so just make sure that you are totally engaged in what's happening in your city and state.
yeah, well, we have had uh, we pulled the black card from folks, several hip hop artists recently, uh, and for actions unbecoming black people. But there's one young man in hip hop who I don't think could ever lose his
Mhm.
black card. He was once known as J Smooth, but later signed to Chuck D's Spit Slam Records. He became, at the behest of the one and only Chuck, Memphis Jelks. Today, Memphis Jelks stands tall. He's a beacon of hip hop innovation, leading the charge with his podcast, The Memphis Jelks Show. He aspires to bridge worlds and is on a mission to unify, transcending the boundaries of race, religion, and politics. Heeding Chuck D's wise counsel, Memphis Jelks extends an invitation to the world. And we welcome him today, the one and only Memphis Jelks. What's going on, Memphis?
Good morning.
You on mute, Memphis. Memphis, come on mute. That, with that voice of his, we want to hear the voice. Nope, we don't have you. he all and this young man's in a studio and all, and he can't get right. He's like that character, can't get right.
No
Come on,
audio
Memphis.
yet.
No audio yet. Look at that. All that build up for
Well, while he's figuring that out, we could.
yeah, let's
Do
let
we
him
have him
figure it
yet?
out.
Another hip hop story that's trending right now is Young Thug. The district
Yes.
attorney wants to put him back in jail for violating his probation. I don't know why he's tweeting, and he should do auto correction or auto check when
She's even
he
correcting his
tweets.
spelling.
But I mean, it
But
happens to all of us. But I mean, come on, Young Thug. Jeez, do it
after
for
what he just
Mariah.
went through, he
Yeah,
said,
do
"Do
it
it for
for
who?"
Mariah, the
Oh,
scientist, if nobody else. And you
I,
can't.
you got it. It's really crazy that he would even be in a position where they're talking about revoking his parole
And
or
the tweets
probation.
that he made towards young Scooter, death, it wasn't even necessary. Like, you didn't have to comment on that situation. All you could have done was say, bro, we're gonna miss you. RIP. All that stuff he was tweeting was not necessary.
This is it's amazing to me that this guy would, like I said, put himself in this position. And like you said, the young Scooter thing, that case, not to switch off from Young Thug, we're gonna get back to him in a second.
It's
That
related.
case is right. Well, what's interesting too about that is that a young lady was arrested for making a false police report or call. Um, are they suggesting, because I don't know the story, the whole story, Neil, and maybe you do. Are they suggesting that because she made that call?
Yeah, there's some relation to the call and the police responding and what happened to him. And at first they said that, and that was another thing that Young Thug alluded to, was that he was shot, and he wasn't. He wasn't shot. He wasn't killed by gunshot wounds. It was
Right.
like a flesh wound from a fence or something. So the case is really developing, and it unfolds every day. So you don't really want to put out too much information because it's an evolving story. But yes, the young lady was arrested for making a false call. She went on social media, which now they have evidence, and she retracted some of the things that she said. And so it definitely seemed like it was a trap house of some sorts. And there was some type of relationship drama going on. And unfortunately, this young man who was beloved in Atlanta, I've seen pictures with him with T.I. and Future. He was definitely well connected, Young Thug. And so, I mean, it's just definitely a loss to the Atlanta hip hop community for sure.
Well, I think we have Memphis back now. Memphis Jelks joining us. Memphis, how's it going, Memphis?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys this morning?
Good morning.
There we go. There we go. Memphis, it's good to have you on. Let it be known. You can check out the Memphis Jelks show on Wednesday nights on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. Does a great job there. But Memphis, let's talk about Memphis has a new song and video out. And it's really interesting how you guys did the video. You, Chuck, and who's the other young man in the video?
The other man's likeness is Kari Wynn. He plays lead guitar in Public Enemy's band. So shout out to Kari.
Okay, I should have known that, right? But the video, and I think we could play a snippet of the video. The video is really interesting. Here you go.
Is that AI generated?
Yes.
We muscle through the struggle with the flow and the hustle. Started off independent like the homie La Russell. Spanish fly brought the bass, gangsta Pat set the pace. Get buck, pretty Tony brought the style and the grace. Al Capone, Al Capizzi said, whoop that trick. DJ Zerk, DJ Squeaky, and the family too thick. DJ Paul and Juicy J, they some beat making monsters. The only rap group to ever bring home an Oscar. We the new rock stars, mics like guitars. Instead of riffs, we be dropping them bars. Music is ours, built blues, built jazz, built gospel and rap. They be stealing our sound. Now we taking back the crown. Every note, every chord, Memphis been on the map. If it wasn't for Crump, it wouldn't be no trap.
Memphis Jelks, and Chuck makes an appearance there too. The influence of Chuck D. First of all, being able to work with a Chuck D. What does that mean to you, Memphis?
Wow, it means everything to me. As a young man growing up in a small town in Ripley, Tennessee, which is like an hour north of Memphis, and it's a small town. So I never would have imagined, that I'd be able to come from a unknown town, an unknown city, and then end up meeting not only one of my idols, but one of hip hop's idols, who's arguably one of the greatest rappers of all time. And not only that, but for him to take me in and embrace me as one of his artists on his record label.
Yeah.
I see your video. Like, I asked the question of AI because AI is having a lot of mixed reviews just not in just the world period, but especially in the hip hop industry. Why did you decide to take the AI route with this album?
Okay, so I sent the finished recording to Chuck, who is a genius. I mean, literally. I sent the finished song to him, and then he texted me back and said, "Now we got to figure out how to do an AI video to this."
Oh, so it's his idea. Okay.
Yes, yeah, but sometimes I don't know if Chuck understands how smart that I am because I immediately like started creating these AI subscriptions like to these AI platforms to where you can create AI videos.
Mhm.
And I ended up creating that video myself, and it took several steps. I had to go through several measures to create the video. Sign up with different AI software programs. I went to YouTube University, and then finally I was able to generate models of myself and Chuck. And the funny part about it is I was gonna like just for kicks and giggles on the singing part, I was gonna use Elvis Presley by me being from Memphis, and then I was gonna troll Chuck because Chuck and Elvis have a pretty interesting history,
Okay.
to say the least. But yeah, but I finished it and then I sent it to Chuck, and then he texted me back, "You a genius."
The
Oh
song
man.
the song is called "We Built This City." And one of the things, and I see in the chat, like Orange E says, hey, notice no N word, no smoking, no pill popping, calling women out their names. But here's the thing, Memphis, you've been really doing your thing out there. I've seen footages of some of your shows, where you've gone on stage, and I mean, you talk about massive crowds and stuff out there to see you. But um, you're a little bit different than what we've come to know about hip hop. As Orange's pointing out, we have not. I've seen you do stuff. He did something that might not have been as very popular. Oh, let me say, not necessarily not popular, but maybe a little dangerous. A few years ago, he created a song and a video called "The Cosby Dance,"
Mhm.
and it was extremely well received at a time when Cosby was
Um,
going through his situation. He actually got Cosby blessing on the song.
Yes,
Tell
Stacy,
us
you
about
had
that.
you had on my end, you had froze. Could you please ask me that question again because I didn't
Sure.
hear the full question.
Yeah, I mentioned the Cosby dance, and you had done it at a time where I think any time right now it'd be controversial, but certainly a few years ago when Cosby was going through what he was going through with the trials and stuff. But you actually got Cosby's blessing on it. How did it all come about for you, and what made you consider doing a song about Bill Cosby?
Wow. To me, and I don't want to disrespect anybody out there. I wasn't there, and nobody else was there either, so they can't judge me, and I can't judge them. But
Mhm.
from the beginning, I thought that it was false accusations, and I think that we're seeing this play out as well with Jay-Z. We're seeing the same thing play out with P. Diddy.
Mm.
Uh, I feel like, I felt that from the door. I have a discerning spirit.
Mm.
Um, and especially when it comes to like, things of that nature. Like, but anyway, the day that Dr. Cosby was locked up, when they said that they were putting him in prison, and he was 81 years old. And my spirit was just like, that's not right, because they don't even have like a smoking gun. This is all assumptions. And even if they were to take him to jail, they're overcharging him 3 to 10 years with no smoking gun. I mean, you see people get out for murder for less.
So this was a Bill Cosby redemption song?
That this wasn't, but I'm leading to that, because as soon as I saw that same night, I went in my studio and I played a track, and then the track just kind of, it just hit me.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up recording a record. I remembered that they were like trolling that they were gonna that Dr. Cosby's prison number was gonna be NN7687. So
Mm-hmm.
I ended up writing a song that night and recording a song that night titled NN7687, which was Dr. Cosby's prison number.
Mm-hmm.
So, but before I went to bed that night, I prayed that one day Dr. Cosby hear this and his people hear this, because I'm basically giving my opinion about how the media at the time and still are attacking prominent black men, because I looked at the bigger picture of it all. I feel like they did that for a reason and a purpose, and we're seeing it play out now with drill music, with stripper female rap culture. They needed prominent people like Dr. Cosby. They wanted that legacy clean out the way to open up the door for what we're seeing now, which is rappers killing each other and making songs about it. That wouldn't have been able to stand had we had that strong legacy of Dr. Cosby still there, and he was still giving his opinions on it and stuff. And it was way bigger than
So
just
I have a
Dr.
question. So
Cosby.
you think the hip hop's morality was based upon Dr. Cosby going to jail or not?
I think it was important for them to get rid of things like the Cosby Show, A Different World, anything that can stand in the way of their evil agenda that we're seeing play out as we speak. It wasn't Dr. Cosby per se. It was the R. Kelly. It was Diddy. It's Jay-Z. It's anybody who gets to a certain level, but they're
see what
not
you're
playing
saying.
the game anymore. They start saying, "Hey, black people, wake up. We need to
I see what
start
you're saying.
waking up." It might have even started with Tupac, but I don't even want to go back that far. But anyway, yeah. So I prayed that night that they would hear it. So the next day I got to work and my phone rang and somebody was like, "You're about to get a phone call from a very prominent person. So if you can go somewhere where you're able to talk." So I ended up getting a phone call, and it was from Dr. Cosby's spokesman, Andrew Wyatt. And he was like, "Man, Miss Camille and Dr. Cosby heard your song. Mind you, this is the next day. I made the song last night and I prayed about it. And here I am. God blessed it to where the next day I'm on the phone with the people from, with Dr. Cosby's people. And they ended
Yeah.
up posting it. They posted the song like on their Twitter and stuff. I'm gonna make the story short. I'm not gonna tell the long story. They ended up posting the story to all of Dr. Cosby's socials at the time. So the song got like a lot of views and a lot of opinions and stuff like that. And it did, pretty well. But I think Stacey even did a story on it.
Well, he
Yep.
definitely needed some allies during that time. So I'm sure that song came in right on time for Dr. Cosby.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
well,
And so I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Memphis,
Stacey.
yeah, and I have to ask, I know, again, you're signed to Chuck D's label. Did you get Chuck's blessing on that? Did he have to bless that for you?
No.
Okay.
That was something that I did that kind of like as a project, as a personal project on the side. I wasn't planning on putting that out under Chuck's label, Spit Slam. I was just kind of putting that out because some things are just bigger than record sales and music, record sales and making money and stuff. This was like a discernment for me. This is like, I have to make this known. Nobody else is gonna do it. Nobody's even standing up and trying to take up for Dr. Cosby after all the stuff that he's done to help other people and other directors and actors and all these Hollywood people and stuff. And I'm like, they're not gonna say anything.
Right. Well, there were a lot of people who felt, like what was happening to him was justified. So did you get any pushback from that song? did you get, were people like negative about the song, or was it you received all love? What was the response?
They say in art, 50% of people should hate what you're doing,
Mm.
and 50% of people should love it. And if that happens, you got a hit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was
So you
50%
did
of
get pushback.
people hated it, 50% of people loved it. So I said, yes, I got one.
Oh, okay.
This is gonna work. But like
So,
Michael Rappaport, I don't know if y'all heard of him.
Rappaport, yeah.
He's Rappaport. That joker he roasted me on Twitter one day. You know, he was upset that I was, that I had the record, the NN 7687 record.
Mhm.
Okay.
He don't understand because he's not my color,
Well, he's the same Michael Rappaport that just the other day demanded that Representative Jasmine Crockett resign. So you can't take too much to heart. But
Yeah.
let's talk more about. I mean, you did those two songs. That's
Well,
the,
go ahead, Stacey.
and I forgot the numbers. You know the numbers by heart. But then you also did the Cosby Dance. But you did so many other things. Let's talk about the other accomplishments because Memphis. A lot of people, when we think about hip hop, we think about New York, California. We rarely think about Memphis, Tennessee.
You want to talk about Memphis?
Yeah, let's talk about Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, can I please before I get into that, Stacey, can I please just make one last point?
Oh yeah,
I
go
really
ahead.
didn't. Okay, so I just wanted to say that after that happened, now I have a relationship with Andrew Wyatt, in the Dr. Cosby camp. So when they had to release him, which I already knew from the beginning that it was all false, so they had to release him. I mean, because it was false from the door. They didn't have a smoking gun
So
anyway.
you don't believe any of the women?
It's not to me. I wasn't there, so and I don't know anybody who was there. So
I just don't want to be
to me, it's not.
dismissive of women. That's
That's what
all
I
I'm
said when I
saying.
first
Yeah.
started. I said, yeah, I don't want to disrespect anybody. I don't know what happened with that with them. I wasn't there, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, who's ever been like a victim of anything like that or anything.
Mhm.
I think it's important also to note that that he was on trial not for 50 women or 60 women. He was on trial for one woman, and I think it's important to also note that that woman that he was on trial for um, did testify that a lot of their relationship was consensual and was not able to put him in the room, if you will, when the alleged incident that led to the charges occurred. I think that there was a lot of questions. Fair report, just the one woman. I'm only speak on the one person that he was on trial. He wasn't on trial for the other women. Now their cases, they never came to criminal court. So like you, Memphis, I can't speak on these other 59 women, but the one person that we covered, the Black press covered, there seemed to be so much holes there that how do you send anybody, whether you're Cosby or Bill Cosby or Bill Smith, to prison based on a story about a consensual relationship that where she was upset, even calling him on Valentine's Day, begging to be with him, even though she knew he was with his wife. But again, the one woman
I
that
mean,
he was
I
on
get
trial
it. I
for.
get it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
a complicated situation.
it
I
is.
just don't want to paint the picture that we're
Yeah,
going
and
to
that's
put
what I'm
him up
saying.
on a pedestal of being a hero. I
No,
still watch
no.
the Cosby Show. I mean, I love the Cosby Show, and I think Bill Cosby has contributed to the Black experience in important ways, but he also has a complicated past. So I just don't want to
Mhm.
paint the
Mhm.
picture of a
Right,
hero.
right.
You know,
I get it.
all I'm
There's
saying.
a lot of people who feel exactly like you do, Neil. I know Memphis feels different. Like I said, I base my thoughts on that whole situation just on that one trial.
Mhm.
Remember
And I
that
get
first
that.
trial, he
Yes.
was
Yeah.
it was a hung jury in which they were leaning 10 to 2 to acquit him. And then the second trial was on the woman was really interesting how it ended. But nonetheless, we don't have to belabor that point.
No,
Um,
but I do want to put on the record though that Dr. Cosby wasn't locked up for rape, which a lot of people
right,
say or think. He
right.
was locked up for
Mhm.
inappropriate touching.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
So look
it
that up.
was. Yeah,
And for
somebody
3
put
to 10 years for inappropriate touching, that's a bit much to me. So that leads me to believe that there was a bigger
Mhm.
cause. Yep.
Yeah, and as Greer mentions, he was released too because prosecutors violated his rights. Um, Anytime that you make a plea deal, um, it should be honored. And this was a deal in that he never had to face any charges if he settled his case with the young woman, and he did settle the case at the behest of the sitting district attorney, and none of that stuff was supposed to have been used against him. So that's the facts. Prosecutors
Mhm.
broke their promise. Supreme Court, to their credit, recognized that this was a case in which his rights were violated. But let's move on.
We say
Memphis.
all that. We say all that just so I can say this, Stacey, and then we can move on. The Cosby dance is a celebration of him getting out. So when he got out, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, it's time to jam now. And I made the song "The Cosby Dance," and it went real viral and stuff, and
It
people
went
love it and stuff.
viral.
Dr. Cosby called me on the phone personally and was like, Memphis. He said, I love that song. He said, my grandkids love that song. And you know how he talks and stuff, man. We stayed on the phone about an hour and do it. He still has it. Don't think he doesn't still have it, man. Bill
Yeah,
Cosby had me rolling literally on
yeah,
the ground, laughing the whole time that I'm on the phone with him. But then he got serious and started dropping some real jewels and knowledge on me about, just
yeah.
the game, the media, the all this stuff. So shout out to Dr. Cosby
So
and
Memphis,
much love to
Michelle.
Andrew White and Kia Soto.
Yeah, Kia is homegirl for sure. Michelle Madison is asking, what your thoughts on Glorilla? Is Glorilla from? She's from Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Glorilla dope. Glorilla, she dope. I would love to do a song with Glorilla. She has that young energy. I'm a bit older of an artist, so I some of my stuff is a little bit more, adult. I mean, yeah, I rap my age. I don't try to rap as an 18 or 17 or 19-year-old. So my subjects may be a little bit more, they're my age.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I would love to do a record with her. She raps her age too. She's young, she's free, she's having fun. She got plenty of money. Yep. So shout out to
What
Glorilla.
she? I recently noticed, 'cause to be honest, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to a lot of these hip hop artists today, like a Glorilla, but she's in the news a lot. I noticed, I saw a picture of her. She has a gorilla tattoo, and so I'm wondering, do you know, Memphis, where did that name come from, and why did she take on that moniker? It just seems a little bit odd for a young black woman to take on the moniker of a gorilla.
It's Glow. It's
Yeah.
No, no, no,
Glorilla.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Well,
I know that, but I'm saying she has an actual gorilla tattooed on her neck or something, right around here.
okay. I really don't know exactly why she chose that name, but I believe her name is Gloria.
Mhm.
Her real name
Okay,
is
okay,
Gloria, and I think her
Mhm.
okay.
middle name is Hallelujah, which is amazing. Like that's
Really?
yeah, because we're Memphis, like, we're in the Bible Belt, so we're all like we're very God fearing people and stuff. So for her name
Mhm.
to be like Gloria, Hallelujah, that is like that's beautiful in itself. But
Right.
then, the streets, we like kind of,
Yeah.
hardcore kind of things. So I think she added the Rilla to it to be like, yeah, I'm Big
Right,
Glow.
right.
I'm a
Yeah.
Glorilla, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it'd be
She's a
like,
beast. Yeah,
yeah,
she's a
The
yeah,
beast. There
beast,
you go.
but she,
Okay.
and she
genius.
glows, she
Yep,
don't glow. Her name is Glorilla. I mean
Okay.
Gloria. So Glorilla. I'm the beast with the
genius.
glow.
Okay. Now, okay. Thanks, Neil. Now I can get with it. Okay. Because I mean, I guess because of what's going on, in this crazy
Mhm.
world, this crazy Trump world, you know, it's kind of hard to just like we saw the young lady, uh, her last name is King, and they put on her it was a medical thing. They put King Kong,
Oh
black girl.
yeah, I saw that.
That it's just awful, that folks are so out with their racism nowadays.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that in music. I'm sure you see a lot of that in music. Memphis, um, do you use your music to kind of we know we talked about some the things that you like, and things you support, like Cosby. Do you use your music to talk about racism and other social justice issues?
I do. Yeah. I really do. But I don't. I try not to make it just like the main focal point because I want racism to end. And I feel like if you keep talking about something, you're keeping it. You're keeping it alive. You're keeping breath going into it. But yes, you can listen to my previous music, a lot of my previous songs and stuff where I do um, touch on those subjects and stuff. And sometimes the racism isn't even from different cultures. I got a song called "We About to Set It," and it's about oh, what's his name's on the tip of my tongue. He's the black guy who got beat and killed by black police officers here in Memphis.
Hmm.
Oh, I know who you're talking
Uh,
about. Yeah. I can't remember
mhm.
his name, but we know who you're talking about.
I know it, but if I wasn't on air, I would just say it. But anyway, I have a song. I have a song about that incident. So and that was black officers who did that
Hmm.
to him. So
Yeah.
yeah, I try to touch on subjects that I feel like can make a change. And when I say make a change, I say that with a grain of salt because I literally growing up, I wanted to be a gangster rapper. I wanted to be like Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre,
It
do
was
all that
Tyree
cussing.
Nichols. The name was Tyree
Ty-
Nichols.
yes, 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 ma'am. Yep. It was Tyree We got Nichols. If you go on YouTube and stuff, you can find that song on there. It's called "We About to Set It." At the time, I had a full band at the time, and
Mhm.
I recorded that with my full band. It was kind of rock sounding, but anyway, um, we were speaking on what was I speaking? I think I lost my train of thought.
On
Just
social justice issues, racism, things like that. I was asking, do you is that a lot of that in your music?
yes, yeah, yeah. It like the Tyree Nichols situation. I have a song called "Wake Up" where I'm talking about we need to stop killing each other. And the funny thing about that is my song "Wake Up" I thought was really, really good. So I sent it to two local radio stations, one black station and one white station.
Mhm.
Guess who ended up playing the record?
You're gonna tell us the white station, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
The
yes.
woke white folks.
The woke white folks. There you
Which
go.
is, I'm like, we sometimes I feel like we're doing this to ourselves. The black station should have played the record. It took the white station to say, "Hey, man, this dude is really saying some powerful things on this record, and it sounds really good. This needs to be heard." It took the white station to say that. The black
Mm.
station, like, they probably just threw it in the garbage as soon as I turned around and walked out of the building. So it's like we're doing a lot of it. We're doing to each other. A lot of the
Mhm.
things that we promote, we're doing it to each other. A lot of the things that we promote is like the opposite of what we should be promoting. To me, it
Mm.
feels like a lot of the stuff is like opposite. It's like, let's celebrate this person getting out of prison, but we're not going to celebrate this person who just graduated from college. He
Mm.
doesn't get a party, you know.
Right. Right. I don't
Um,
know how much time we have left, but I want to get a
But
couple.
yeah,
I
we're
want to get a
almost out of
question
time.
in, and I want to throw out a few names to you, and I just want you to tell me briefly the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay,
okay,
Kanye,
genius,
mm. Drake,
uh, the greatest artist of all time.
Oh, wow.
Kendrick Lamar.
The greatest rapper of his generation, not of all time.
Hmm.
Diddy.
Mogul.
Chuck D.
Fight the power.
All right.
I like that. Yeah, that was pretty
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you. I like that question too, Greer. That was nice. That was dope.
So the song is called "We Built This City." Where can folks pick this up at? Where can they stream it or download it or whatever? Memphis.
It's streaming on all platforms. So if you have Spotify, you can add it to your playlist. I want you to add it to your playlist on Apple Music. It's on every platform, Amazon Music. But if you want to deal with me directly, come to memphisjelks.com and you can get it from there too. I don't charge for it. You can just name your own price. If you want to throw me a dollar or two for the song or something, I have it set up to where you can do that. But I prefer you come directly to me, memphisjelks.com. But I know a lot of people are subscribed to Spotify and Apple Music, and that's where they play most of their stuff from. So if that's you, then stream it, run up the numbers.
Run up the numbers. Memphis, we really appreciate you dropping by. Let it be known this morning. I know your schedule's packed. Watch the Memphis Jelks Show on Wednesdays. Tell us the time, where they can watch it.
Wednesdays, watch the Memphis Jelks Show every Wednesday night live at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And we have the phone lines open, so we enjoy when people call in and we interact with people and stuff, because we don't know it all. I don't know it all. Some of the stuff that I like to hear other people's opinions too, and bounce my ideas off other people's opinions too. Because none of us know it all. But the Memphis Jelks Show is there for anybody who wants to just come on there and hang out and share what you have going on. Whether it's music, whether you got a movie, Stacy came on there and had fun with us one day. Your show is one of my favorite shows, Stacy.
Man, we had a ball. What's your side? You got a sidekick, you got a co-host over there. What's his name again? The big guy.
Oh, shout out to Orlandis. Orlandis
yeah,
Scott.
the big O.
Yes, yep. Is he's an engineer too. I'm a design engineer for orthopedics company.
Nice.
And that's how I met because O is an engineer also. And it's rare. Sometimes it's rare, that you meet like young Black brothers who engineers,
Right.
So that's that we've had like so many different ventures before we did the Memphis Jelks Show that I kind of embarrassing. We threw 2 big parties that nobody came to. And you got to start somewhere. Sure, we took them losses and just kept thinking, okay, what can we do next? And we ended up with the Memphis Jelks Show.
There it is, right there. There's O and Chuck D, and of course Memphis Jelks. Check him out, the Memphis Jelks Show, and there it is. You can call into his show Wednesday night, 7:30 Central, so that's 8:30 Eastern Time. Memphis, thanks for joining the Black Presses. Letting me know we know we supporting you, and we thank you for supporting us.
Thank you guys for having me. Nice to meet you too, Greer. Thanks, Stacey.
That's Greer. You don't see her face because she hides even from us. So she's a chameleon.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all that you do. Keep doing it. The community, we love you guys. Anything that I can do, or to help, promote you guys and get you out there even more. Just let me know. Anytime you guys want me to come on the show, I'm here. I'll be here before y'all even get here in the morning. But this morning, I had to run back in and get my coffee this morning, though. But thanks, y'all. Have a good day.
Memphis.
Okay.
Enjoy. Folks,
Bye-bye.
check out, again, Memphis Jelks, the song "We Built This City." Go to memphisjelks.com or download it. Go to Spotify and all those other places where you can stream it or download it or whatever they say today. Man, what happened to CDs, Neil? I'm missing my albums now.
I'm an album collector, so I have a record player, and I have old from Nina Simone, Coltrane to Erykah Badu. I love to sometime on a Saturday morning put on an album and clean. Like, I
You know, I,
used
I
to
can
be in the house like a little girl with my granny.
I can see you. I can see you pulling up in one of them old school Volkswagen vans, and you having the dashiki on, going in with your hair tied back, smoking some weed, drinking some wine, and listening to music.
Well, actually, I have a 1966 Mustang.
Look at that.
Her name is Cabrini, and
Okay, as in
I,
Cabrini Green.
yeah, because she is a green car, and I'm,
Oh, look at that.
yeah, her name is Cabrini Green, 1966 Mustang, and yeah, I've been renovating her for years, so hopefully one day
Wow.
I can pull her out.
Look at you. Look at you. Oh,
But I
shoot.
have some quickies.
All right, let's get to it.
So we're gonna stay in this hip hop, space we're in, and Ice Cube. Okay, Ice Cube. I'm pretty sure
Uh-oh.
he's a friend of Chuck D, and Memphis knows about Ice Cube. Ice Cube has finally inked a deal with New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers for the last sequel of the cultural phenomenon known as
Oh.
Friday. So Friday
Now,
is returning.
so on that note, I don't know if I hope this is not part of your quickies because I don't want to jump ahead, but you made me think about Tyler Perry and Why Did I Get Married? And did you see all of the cast members kind of go in on him a little bit, saying that because he had said what he will make another one, but everybody's is busy or whatever, and all of Tasha, all of them was like, it only takes Tyler like 2 days to do a film. My weekends are free.
Well,
They
I
were
don't.
tagging like
Yeah.
Janet Jackson and everybody else saying,
Well,
I
I
don't know
think
about
that
you.
was for some of the characters are not ready. I think that's what that was about.
Some of the
Some
characters,
of
as
them
far as
are
how he's
available.
writing it.
Yeah. Well, no, just some of them. Some of the characters are too busy for the movie, quote
But
unquote.
they're saying they're not.
Who is
That
they?
he
Only Tasha said that. Janet
okay,
Jackson ain't
nope.
said
No,
nothing.
Janet hasn't said anything, but it
That's
was
what I'm
someone else
saying.
who chimed in though. It was somebody else who said the same thing. And I can't remember who it was. It was another female in that cast. Who's the other female in that cast?
Jill
Jill
Scott.
Scott. She's the one. She's like,
Yeah.
I got
It ain't them. I
weekends
put it
free.
this way. It ain't them that doesn't have the time. And I'm just leave it right there.
Okay.
It ain't
Okay.
them. But going
We are
back
going to get another Friday finally, huh?
yeah, we're gonna get a
So the
Friday.
big question is like Chris Tucker going to do this?
Well, so Ice Cube will write and reprise his role on Chris Tucker. And we know that we've lost John Witherspoon.
Right.
Tommy Tyner Lesty has passed away. Of course, Bernie Mac has deceased. AJ Johnson. So a lot of the people from the movie have passed away. But you still got Miss Parker. Miss Parker's not too far from me. You know what I'm saying? So, and everybody is wondering if Chris Tucker would return. I'm pretty sure if the dollar amount is right and the character. I know there was some conversation about, he's a real big Church of God in Christ man, and so some of the conversation was he doesn't want to be the weed smoker or this and that. But I think if the price is right, he'll pull up. So this is a developing story, and as it unfolds, because word on the street is I know AJ Johnson, he was kind of pissed before he died because quote unquote Ice Cube don't like to pay or whatever the situation is. So it's a lot going on with Friday, but the good thing is the last Friday is in rotation and it's in the making, and we have to see if Mike Epps is going to return, because remember he was in the Christmas Friday, and then we'll see if Chris Tucker returns. And then moving on, Jackie Robinson, he has a 5-bedroom house, and I think it's either you or Greer. Which one is from Queens?
Queens.
That's you. Me. Okay, yeah.
Kings
so Jackie Robinson's 5-bedroom home in Queens, New York is available for rent. Stacey, so for $5,000.
It's so interesting. I know exactly where that house is. I never knew it was Jackie Robinson's house.
Yeah, well, that is his house. And the house still remains in its original layout, and with a wood burning fireplace, 11,000 square feet. The rental includes a formal living room with a fireplace, dining room, gallery kitchen, sunroom, and a spacious backyard. schools and parks near. So if you want to be in a house of greatness, the greatness known as Jackie Robinson, you can rent the house for $5K a month.
$5K a month. Greer says, "Don't ever get us mixed up, Brooklyn and Queens." You know, Brooklyn, they got issues.
And finally, I think this is an important note. We talked about Zelle, the app going away, and you only having to go to your bank institutions. Now, CNBC is reporting that the U.S. Treasury Department is slowly eliminating paper checks after Donald Trump signed an executive order requiring all federal departments and agencies to switch to electronic payments. And we know this is going to impact low income individuals that, these people that go to these payday loans and things like that, they don't have bank accounts. So
Yes.
how can you receive an electronic check? So once again, he is going after the least of these, which is probably going to be some of his cousins.
You think so?
I mean, white folks is broke too. Okay.
Yeah,
It just
exactly.
ain't people of color.
Right. Right.
So this is going to impact people that don't have bank accounts. And we know the people that don't have bank accounts are the ones that need the financial resources the most at most times.
Orange says, "Just say the bridge is over and you will see the different reactions." Oh God.
So yeah, so that's something to pay attention to, because all of these rollbacks that he's doing are eventually going to trickle down and impact family members or us.
Wow. Well, we want to tease our question again, or we just go to the black card now?
We didn't get a hint, Greer. Do we get a
I know,
tease?
that's
Did we
why
get
I
a
mean,
hint?
did we get a hint? Because I saw a couple of guesses, but I wanted
She
to
said no hint today.
no hint. See, she's getting tougher and tougher, and I don't know that I like that. Life is already hard.
Well, what's the question? Let's toss
Let's
back
throw the
out
question
the question
back up
again.
there. What's the question again? Come on, Greer. Throw the question up there. Which landmark Supreme Court case featured a teenage civil rights pioneer whose testimony helped end bus segregation in Alabama? Ooh, that's a good one. All right, so make sure that you again put your answers in the chat. We'll get to the answer very, very shortly now, but we want to go to who is losing their black card today. Now, I had a couple of late contenders, and one of them is probably worthy of bringing back tomorrow or another day, but I'm going to go with this one. And this one, you may not agree with me on this one, but I'm taking this guy's black card.
Let's hear who you got.
Yeah, listen, I got to take it away from this guy. So it's going to sound cruel, but I've got to go in a different direction and give it to this Atlanta Hawks basketball fan by the name of James.
Okay.
Why? James was
Why?
during an on-court competition. An in-game fan contest went awry during the Hawks matchup against the Portland Trailblazers. During a timeout, they have the entertainment in which they pick some fans from the stands who had James had to do. All he had to do was make a layup. So, and competing against another contestant, they go on each side of the court. James to take his layup, and he crumbles to the ground. Crumbles to the ground, apparently tearing his ACL on a. Come on, keep that film rolling, because watch how this unfolds. James, you cannot get on the floor of the Atlanta. Look, and down goes Frazier. That come on, 18,000 people watching in the arena, thousands more watching on television. Your first layup.
Oh wow,
James.
Now, he lost his black card for that.
He's not invited to the cookout. You cannot embarrass your family like that.
Oh,
you cannot embarrass your family like that, James. Now, the good thing about it, this is one that I can see him winning his card back. He can actually earn that. It won't be that difficult to earn his black card back.
Well, I have one. This is who lost their black card from me
Yes.
yesterday. Drake. Drake has lost his black card. Yesterday, a judge ruled that Drake can see Kendrick Lamar's record deal and
Yeah.
other documents in Not Like Us lawsuit. I have
Mm.
never seen
Anything like it.
anybody whine, cry, so upset over losing a rap battle. I mean, come on. He deserves to lose his black card, okay? You can't come over the border from Canada. Keep your ass over
Uh-oh.
there. You're not
Uh-oh. Over the
allowed in
border.
California. You're not allowed in Atlanta, New York. You have lost your rap card and your black card.
No, he done lost both.
Yes, take your singy sangy self. And I love Drake's music, but the way that he is whining about losing a
Yeah.
rap battle, I mean, how could you not lose your black card? Hip hop is black. Okay, everybody want to be a part of the culture, which is fine, but we are hip hop, black folks, and we don't do this in a rap battle. We don't sue and seek people's private records and contracts because we can't rap better than Kendrick Lamar. That's what we don't do. So yeah, he's not allowed at the cookout. He's not allowed at Summer Jam.
Yeah. Summer
He-
Jam. Wow.
He's not revoked.
Wow. She has thrown the hook.
No Summer Jam, no concert. You can't tour. You cannot tour in the United States. Black card revoked.
Revoked. She has did the whole Apollo Sandman, everything on Drake.
Get
Drake
the
is
hook.
done.
He's not
Drake
allowed
is
at the
done.
Apollo. None of the black places.
He is
Juneteenth.
out.
No.
He's cooked. He's cooked.
He's
Drake is
not
cooked.
like us.
He's not.
He's not like us.
Wait, Inferno 932 says light skin activity.
Bam.
Oh my gosh, I like that one. I'm with that one. Yeah, it's over. Okay, so here we go. Before Rosa sat, a teenage girl stood her ground, quietly, defiantly on a Montgomery bus. Her case didn't just make waves; it shook the Supreme Court. Who was she? That's a different question. We need the answer to the other question.
No, I think this plays into that because before Rosa Parks, there was a black girl. I know exactly who she's talking about. And they said that her skin color wasn't the color to lead the boycott. That was an internal black thing.
Oh, gosh. I tell you, black people, y'all complicated people.
But yeah, she did it before Rosa Parks. I think her name begins with the C.
Okay, so we're not gonna get the answer right now. We're gonna wait a minute. Okay, we got to do our Black History. Claudette Colvin is what Daniela Pierre is saying.
That's who it is. That's who I'm going with.
Okay.
Thank you, sis. That's her name. I knew it was.
Okay.
I knew it was affiliated with Greer. Not, but is. You know, she got a mama. Her mama's name is that name.
Okay, I see what you did there. All right. Let's do some Black History moments. On this date in 1968, folks, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his final speech, I've Been to the Mountaintop. It was just one day before an assassin gunned him down in, of all places, Memphis, Tennessee. We just had Memphis Jelks on. But yes, this is that day in which, I always found that when I was a kid, I really, as a young kid, I used to think that, man, so this was really, it made it all the more sad because it's like that speech, he knew he was going to get killed.
Right.
And the next day, he got killed.
Right. Yeah. Probably the death threats that he was receiving during this time were overwhelming and the pressure. One of my favorite speeches by Dr. King is The Midnight Hour. He had just got a call, and that sermon or speech was just so powerful, and it kind of reminds me of what you were just talking about right now, the pressure of not just the weight of carrying our burdens, but the pressure from white supremacists that were constantly not just threatening him, but threatening his family, and now we know with these tapes coming out, the FBI, you know what I mean? So the pressure in his mindset of giving this speech, it's definitely worth it to go watch and listen to today and tomorrow for sure. Another moment in Black history. On this date in 1888, Gertrude Bridget Ma Rainey, the mother of blues, was born in Columbus, Georgia. She made her stage debut at the Columbus Opera House in 1900 in a talent show called The Bunch of Blackberries, and made her first recording in 1923 and her last in 1928. She died on December 22nd, 1939.
Wow, Ma Rainey. Wow. That
Didn't
is awesome.
Queen Latifah make a movie about her?
Yeah, Ma Rainey, Black Bottom, something.
Yeah. So if you want to learn
Yeah.
about her, you can go watch the Queen Latifah movie.
Oh, okay. There you go. more hip hop stuff. Okay, so is it time for the answer?
Yes. Drum roll.
Drum roll. And the answer is there it goes. Claudette Colvin. The case was Browder versus Gale. And somebody else said that. Browder versus Gale. Somebody else had the answer too. Gina Stewart had the answer, but somebody mentioned the case. I saw that in the chat. That's pretty cool. Okay. Danielle Pierre, she said Brown versus Board. But I thought somebody else said Browder. But nonetheless, that is the answer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. You got to keep these Black history moments alive.
Yeah, and see, this is like a hidden jewel. Like, Rosa Parks got the credit, but she probably got the courage from Claudette. You know what I mean? And this was a brown skinned woman. She wouldn't have passed the paper bag test. But Rosa Parks did. I mean, she's right behind me. See, she's sitting on the bus. She right there. I love her
Right
to
there on
death.
the bus.
But Claudette Colvin, she was the first. And I think that, thanks Greer for that, for her to have her flowers, and for her to be uplifted in this Black history moment.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. See, this is exactly why we need these Black history moments. David Youngblood says Claudette was pregnant at the time too. So I did not know.
So look at the courage. That's even more courage, because you knew what would happen to you if you didn't sit at the back of the bus. Now here you have a woman that's pregnant, a young girl that was pregnant, that did it.
Yeah. Wow. 15 years old, huh? And look at that headline: Negro girl. It's like, wow.
So thank God for her to give Rosa the courage to do it.
Right. Exactly. Man, just think, this is what this administration wants today. David says that's why they didn't want her to represent the movement, and she was not married. Okay. Yeah.
Another Baynard Rustin story. You could be the visionary, but you gonna vision from back there.
Yeah. Wow. That is really interesting. All right. The Black-owned newspaper of the day is the Houston Forward-Times. The Forward-Times Publishing Company Incorporated was founded in January of 1960 under the leadership of the late founder and publisher Julius P. Carter. Mr. Carter founded the Forward-Times as a means of uniting Black Houston to overcome the obstacles that were holding Blacks in the shackles of second-class citizenry. Mr. Carter passed away suddenly in 1971 after catapulting the Forward-Times into the third major newspaper in Houston, a weekly only behind the two dailies, I should say. Lenora Dahl Carter was the wife and successor of Julius P. Carter. Today, Karen Carter Richards serves as CEO and publisher of Forward-Times, the South's largest Black-owned and independently published newspaper. Karen has creatively expanded the mission of the Forward-Times and has continued her family's publishing legacy to ensure that it remains the strongest information vehicle and most trusted voice for African Americans in the city of Houston and throughout the Southern region. Our Black newspaper of the day is the Houston Forward-Times.
H-Town.
H-Town. Yes, indeed. Wow. And so, I mean, you can go to the Forward-Times website to get all their news. Of course, like just about all Black-owned newspapers, you can go online and check them out.
Yeah. Shout out to Karen. She did an excellent job this past couple of weeks she's the chair of the NNPA fund, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the enshrinement of the newspaper, Sacramento Observer, and I forget the other one, but she did an excellent job at hosting that in Washington, D.C. But as you know, as Stacey said, Houston Forward-Times, LA Sentinel, Washington Informer, lots of stories. You can find what's happening across Black America. All you have to do is go to blackpressusa.com, where we bring you the headlines 24/7 and the headlines that are impacting the Black experience. So, keep up. Stacey has tons of stories on there. April D. Ryan, she's part of the family now. So it is probably Black America's most trusted source. Is blackpressusa.com.
And don't forget Lauren Burke.
She's on the hill. She's on the hill,
Yes,
She's on the hill. Sometimes you might see her with her cowgirl hat on. She is bringing the funk, as Roland Martin says.
Wow. Well, folks, it is always a privilege to wake up with you guys every morning and see what you guys have to say, let alone what we have to say, but it's to hear and see what y'all have to say. And join us again. Tomorrow's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Go ahead, sing that song, Neil.
TGIF.
Oh, boy. Don't you remember the song?
No. What's the song?
Oh, my God. Thank God it's Friday.
Oh, okay. TGIF.
But you don't remember the song?
No, I don't.
How does the song go?
Tomorrow we're going to play it.
Okay. Let's do that tomorrow.
Did a Black person write it? Or is that what? Because it could be the trivia of the day. Who wrote TGIF? Hope it's a Black person.
Well, let's find out tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Let it be known. We'll see you then.